We're continuing on Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim, Siman Kuf Nun Gimel, the halachot of Bet Knesset, and we're up to Sif Chet, Daf Lamed Zayin Amud Bet of the regular prince of Mishna Berura. And Maran writes, Banu Bet Setam V'Iktishu Achar Kach LeBet HaKnesset. It doesn't necessarily need to be built from the scratch to be a Bet Knesset with the Kedusha Bet Knesset. But even if you built and structured a house, and then you dedicated, you decided that this is going to be a shul, is going to be a Bet Midrash, Dino ke Bet Knesset. It becomes the same halacha as a regular Kedusha Bet Knesset, aval eino kadosh at shitpallu. But at the same time, the dedication does not work. Hazmana lav miltai. If you want to say it in the fancy halachic terminology and expression, the preparation by itself does not make it kadosh. Until, even if you have the hechal over there, you have the mechitza, you have the Aron Kodesh, and the bima, and the chairs, and the tables, and the sfarim, and the siduri. Beautiful, very nice. But it does not become kadosh until the first time that they daven in there. Once you start davening, that makes it avodatan mecharechatan. That makes it kadosh. Afilu im banu l'shem bet knesset. Even if you built it for bet knesset to begin with, you built it for it to become a bet knesset. Still, it does not contain the kedusha bet knesset until you daven it. The keva and sheets, but once you daven in it once, afilu orchim nefisha. Even if the people who built it did not end up davening there, there were a group of guests from out of town. They came to the minyan, said, "Oh, a new built shul, chazak baruch." Even though that they're not the people who built it, they're just guests, a temporary minyan. Because it was built for this, because it was dedicated for this. The one-time use, even by people who are just guests, makes it take on the Kedusha Bet Knesset already, and that's where it starts. But if you said, we are using this for the next year as the shul, we build a temporary makeshift shul until the magnificent 50,000 square foot shul is built, so we got to be using this for the next 2 years until. So then every tenai that you made, every condition that was made is kept. So it's going to be kadosh maybe for that 2 years, but it's not a kedushat olami. So it says the Mishnah Berura over here in Ot Memchet. Even though that it was a house, the structure was a regular residential place, and now you said, you know what, in this high rise we don't have a shul, this apartment became available, we're going to rent it and turn it into shul. Even though that until now was a regular living room, now it takes on the Kedusha Bet Knesset for all of its aspects. Even lechatchila you could do that. We don't say that, this was residential, it's not good. You could do it, lechatchila even. You have to necessarily build it for Bet Knesset to begin with, but it's not kadosh until you use it, even with the dedication or building, because we hold hazmana lav miltahi. We hold that preparation is not going to cut it. It's not going to create kedusha. Umutar l'shanot habayit lachol. If last minute, after you have set up the whole thing, you say, you know what? Actually, it doesn't work. If you're gonna turn this back to a residential, someone came with a high offer for residential, business is business, and yalla. Can you do that? Yeah. It has not turned into a knesset yet. You could use it for tashmish shel chol, and also you could, hold a party in there before the first tefillah. Even though you can't hold a party necessarily in the shul as a kedusha bet knesset, but here it's still not kadosh. So you want to have a party with having some drinks and stuff. That's mutar, because the kedusha bet knesset has not taken hold yet, has not been chal on this makom. Now, if they didn't prepare it for shul, it's a house. They have not been dedicating it for shul yet, but they start davening in there. So now you have no hazmana, but you have tefillah, right? So that also does not make it kadosh, says the Kaf HaChaim, right? You need both. You need to have dedicated the place. We're going to use this as a shul, and then you daven once, it already takes effect. But if you have one but not the other, hazmana without usage without hazmana, that doesn't do it. Says the Mishnah Berura, a Bet Knesset here, Bet Knesset that built it, the Kahal built it from the money of the Kahal, not a money that was gathered for shul, but they, someone laid down the money, from Mammon, that's Mammon Chol. But if you collected the money for Bet Knesset, you had a makbit, you had a crowd funding, and you said we want to build a shul, so you gathered $2 million. And now you want to build a shul. So this, says the Mishnah Berura, asur l'shanot habayit. When you buy the bayit or build the bayit without even using it once, you cannot use it for anything else. Because the money that was given for Kedushat Bet Knesset. We have already discussed this. That it has the level of Kedusha of Bet Knesset, whatever it was gathered for, whatever it was raised for, and there you cannot change it any longer to a different usage. You have to keep it within the usage that was collected for. Now, if you make a mitpachat for Sefer Torah, let's imagine you want to sew up a beautiful cover for Sefer Torah, and you've never used it. You made the cover, right? But you've never used it before, and it's a private Sefer Torah called Shelo nishtamesh bo Sefer Torah yachol lachzor bo. As long as you have not used it yet for Sefer Torah, you could change your mind and use it for something else, because hazmana lav miltei. It's what we mentioned. Hazmana, preparation, is not a halachic binding matter. As long as it was not used once, you could turn it back to something else. Umashma de lo have neder klal l'dato. It would not be considered a neder, and you could change your mind. But at the same time, Pri Megadim disagrees with that. Pri Megadim says that you have to be machmir, that if you make a mitpachat for Sefer Torah, you cannot retract, you cannot reverse yourself and change that mitpachat to something else, because even though that hazmana lav miltai, even though that we don't reckon with hazmana as a serious halachically binding matter, but at the same time, Shulchan Aruch says in Yoredah that a person that says, I'm going to do a mitzvah, Silchot Nedarim, if you say that you're going to do a mitzvah, that is like neder. And to say that you're going to make a mitpachat for Sefer Torah, a cover for Sefer Torah, that also has neder involved with it, as well as the Shulchan Aruch discusses in Siman Reshut Gimel in Yoredah. So that being said, we mentioned that if you build something that is miyuchad for Bet Knesset, and then you use it once, it becomes kadosh. When you dedicate something for shul, that's a proper preparation, proper hazmana. That you have prepared it to daven there, and that's considered a good hazmana. Kaf HaChaim writes, even if you had hazmana only in your mind, you don't have to say it, you don't have to write it, you don't have to email somebody. Even if you had in mind, this room, I'm doing it, preparing it for a shul, that's hazmana. As long as the mindset was that, when they prepared it, that will be considered also hazmana. Says the Mishnah Berura, if you're doing it for Yamim Tovim, you're renting a place for Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, right? Until the regalim pass, basically, or whatever other temporary thing that you have. Many people go to Hong Kong, and they're there for business. They're the business, but for the week that they're there, and everyone from America is going there, you have hundreds of from Jews there in India, Hong Kong, whatever it is, the different places that people go for business, Taiwan, and they have, they set up a shul. They rent a place and they set up a shul for their minyanim, daily minyanim, right? And the Bet Midrash in the afternoons, they're learning, Daf Yomi, it's beautiful to see it, right? It's packed places sometimes. So if you have something like that can make shift, and the tefillah was, Ula Pukeim, Hizmin Ota lebet tefillah, rak lefi sha'ah. If you prepared this and you brought Mamasha Aaron Kodesh and I said, for the Bima, the whole thing, you prepared it, you put Modim Darabanan over there and Shila Malod and all those things. But it was only until the Regel passes, until the Yarid, the marketplace time is over, or the Regel, the Chagim pass, because those are the times that people gather to places that they don't live in. Lo chashiva hazmana, that's absolutely nothing. Nothing. That's not considered hazmana at all. Umutar afilu be'et haregel le'echol v'lishtot bo. Even during the regel, in the shul, so-called shul, you could have food, you could, it's not kedushat beit knesset. That's not a hazmana. So that's what the Mishna Berura paskins, right? Kaf HaChaim seems to disagree with this. He says that even though that you did it lefi sha'ah only during the time that this is serving as a shul, you have to have kavod. Where is the kavod? Where is the ha'aracha of the place? Therefore, you should have the respect of Bet Knesset, and therefore you should not be eating, drinking, all those things that we discussed before, until the regel passes. But once the regel passes, and you take down the shul, they could have it as a storage, even if the owner is Jew. You don't have to necessarily respect that place afterwards, because the kedusha is not chal on a long-term type of thing, and therefore it will be mutar. One last Mishna Berura here. Ve'im lefi sha'ah hikdisho. If you, to begin with, put a time limit on it, because you want to only use this place for 6 months, 1 year, whatever it is, and you say stam. You said in the beginning, I want this to be a Yom Tov shul, right? When people are busy, people come for Chagim, right? This will be the Yom Tov shul. We'll have it on Regalim. You have a lot of places in Eretz Yisrael that, Baruch Hashem, thousands of people go for Aliyah Regel. Many places are, packed for Regalim. So if you make a shul that it's meant only for Yom Tov, then any time that's regular, you say this is going to be the Yom Tov shul, right? So what does that mean exactly? That means every time is mashma, that every time that the regel comes, the Yom Tov comes, this will be kadosh. Therefore, that's considered a hazmana olamit. That's considered a serious hazmana, an open-ended. It's not a temporary thing. That's, even though that is only 1 week, 2 weeks out of the year, but it's an open-ended. Every Yom Tov, this is going to be a shul. So that's considered hazmana olamit. Actually, is considered a good hazmana, at least for the time being. Over there, v'asur bazeh hazeman, and it will be asur nowadays. So now, kedushat bet knesset is chal, based on what we're saying. It takes effect, even though that the shul only is used in Yom Tov, Yamim Tovim. It's only a temporary use. Still, the kedusha is there. Now, the Ben Ish Chai writes the Bet Knesset that you daven during the course of the entire year is much more kadosh than a Bet Knesset that's only used for Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, right? So that's also important when you want to choose a minyan. You don't want to go to a hotel, chatchila, that who knows what they do there in that room the rest of the year, all the tum'ah, the mixed dancing and pritzu. Do you really want your tefillot of Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah to be in such a place? Or even a temporary shul, says the Ben Ish Chai. Even if you have a shul that's used as a shul. It's not any disgraceful usages during the year, but it's only miyuchad for a minyan, for chagim, versus a shul that they daven there every morning, they learn there every day. That has more kedusha, says the Ben Ish Chai, and therefore, if you have, says the Ben Ish Chai, if you have two shuls in front of you, and one of them, they daven in it only sometimes during the year, and the second one is more kavua, and has constant tefillot and learning, adif shitpalel bebet hakneset shemtpalim bo bekviut. It's better to daven in the shul that is a kavua shul, that has regular minyanim around the clock. Umi yikdish cheder bebeto lebet knesset lezmanim mesuyamim. If you in your house dedicated a room to be a bet knesset for some times, right? Friday night, it's 2 hours walk, 1 hour walk to the nearest shul, and sometimes in the summer it doesn't work really for people to walk back and forth, right? It's Shabbat morning, you have to go to shul, of course, so you go. So if you have, let's say, a situation like that, I'm not advocating for that, by the way. I'm a big believer that people should be connected with the kahal, not in private minyanim, backyard minyanim. Rabbi Aaron ben Shimon, the Nar Mitzrayim, the Shara Mafked, he writes strong words against having pop-up minyanim in the town. He says, Asur, it destroys the structure of the community, it destroys the finances of the community, destroys the tzura of the Yiddishkeit in town, it cuts off people from the source of connection with Rabbanim, with that Torah, with someone to look up to, and for kids to see commitment and consistency. It's so destructive and so negative, but that's for a different discussion. For halachic discourse, if a person was makdish a cheder, a room in their house, for a temporary minyan, for some times, for only Friday nights, for only Yamim Tovim, and now you want to change that to a different room. This room doesn't work, we need a bigger room for it. The Kaf HaChaim writes that if you, in the beginning, said every Yom Tov will have a minyan here, that's already considered that you were makdish it open-ended forever, and that becomes a problem for those times. Then you cannot change it without discussing with people who come there, Bnei Ha'ir, just like a regular Bet Knesset of the Rabbim. So that's something to be very mindful as well. That concludes Sif Chet. Bezrat Hashem will continue starting Sif Tet in the days to come.